Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Pauline Verzosa. Vice President Sara Duterte refused to comment about the existence of a certain Mary Grace Piattos. VP Sara said she has not yet seen the documents where Piattos appeared as one of the recipients of her office's confidential funds. She said the documents were directly submitted to the Office of the Vice President's Special Disbursement Officer, Gina Acosta, and the Commission on Audit's Control of Fund Audit Unit. Recall that some lawmakers at the House are doubting the existence of Piattos.
I have no comment on that, no, because I've not seen the acknowledgement receipt na kanilang sinasabi, because basically lahat ng mga documents hindi siya dumadaan sa akin, dumidiretso siya sa SDO and sinasubmit siya sa ICFAO, yung office ng COA na gumagawa ng audit ng confidential funds.
Meanwhile, VP Sara's Chief of Staff finally appeared at the House hearing on her office's spending of confidential funds. However, lawmakers did not get much out of her. Marian Enriquez has that report.
Last year, when both agencies were still led by Vice President Sara Duterte, the OVP and Education Department submitted more than 4,000 receipts to the Commission on Audit to document how Duterte's confidential funds were spent. But in parsing through this, members of the Good Government Committee saw red flags everywhere. In previous hearings, they discovered thousands of pesos disbursed to one Mary Grace Piattos. Lawmakers believe this is not a real person and even offered a 1 million peso reward to anyone who can provide information about this character. Now, another mystery name came up, Kokoy Villamin. This individual signed acknowledgement receipts for both the OVP and DepEd in very different strokes, two signatures coming from one person, real or otherwise.
It begs us the question, gaano kalala yung pag-aabuso dito sa office confidential funds? I think we have just started unearthing all of these problems and all of the questionable acknowledgement receipts. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, Mr. Chair. If we go deeper into this, mukhang widespread po ang nangyaring pag-aabuso sa pondo po ng ating gobyerno, Mr.
More questions were raised over the role of the Special Disbursing Officers or SDOs and how they handled the funds of Sara Duterte's agencies. These officers are the only ones authorized to receive and handle confidential funds. DepEd SDO Edward Fajardo supposedly distributed 37.5 million pesos in confidential funds, a part of which was disbursed in 26 provinces in just one day.
In Pasig po na in cash, and immediately the next day, he traveled to these 7 places and had these 7 ARs. Did this not raise a red flag of the impossibility of this occurring? Let's give him a helicopter. I don't think he'll do that in one day. So it really raises a question. How did SDO Fajardo certify and say that he personally disbursed this?
And how about the OVP's SDO Gina Acosta, who supposedly withdrew 500 million pesos in confidential funds from Land Bank and stuffed them all into duffel bags? Acosta allegedly made withdrawals of 125 million pesos each between December 2022 and the first 3 quarters of 2023. Meantime, Duterte's Chief of Staff Attorney Zulaika Lopez finally showed up to the hearing, but she claims no knowledge of how the Vice President spent her confidential funds. Lopez insisted that she had no idea about the disbursement, liquidation, and use of any of the confidential funds. Lopez's assistant Lemuel Ortoño was also still a no-show and was cited in contempt a second time. For News 5, I'm Marian Enriquez. We are One News.
A House Squad Committee lead chair, Congressman Ace Barber, says that they plan to invite former President Rodrigo Duterte again, but not for the next 2 hearings. Here's an excerpt from his interview on StoryCon.
Ipapatawag niyo pa ba uli si former President Duterte?
Siguro sa next hearing namin, baka hindi pa ito ang next na invitation namin sa kanya because we will hold our last hearing for the POGO And then, yung drugs, yung EJK, doon namin siya ulit tatawagin.
Okay.
Pag na-set up na namin ulit yan, Ami.
May
Congressman,
specific ba kayong gustong i-clarify? Kasi 13 hours na yung appearance niya the first time eh. Ano pa yung mga points na gusto niyong tanong sa kanya?
Yung tungkol doon sa that's correct, no? 13 hours ang kanyang and sinabi naman daw niya ng lahat ng dapat niyang sabihin at dapat daw malaman ng Quadcom. But some of the members are actually wanting to see him again kasi hindi pa sila nakapagtanong. Unong umabot na ng bandang medyo late in the evening, yung ibang mga members ay umuwi na rin at hindi na rin nakapagtanong, thinking na meron pa namang second round. So siguro yon, and we will have to ask them again kung sino pa yung gusto magtanong at ano yung tatanong para maging basis namin if iimbitahan pa namin siya ulit sa susunod na pagdinig.
Congressman, any insights on that previous hearing on how it went? May mga insight o learnings po ba kayo?
Well, aside from the extrajudicial confessions that he made, outside of what he made in the Senate, parang nadagdagan lang no yung kanyang mga sinabi na kung saan ay merong sort of a confirmation na merong reward doon sa ginawang war on drugs at saka doon sa point na meron talagang mga police no o mga law enforcers na talagang umabuso. Kahit siya mismo inamin din naman niya na may umabusong mga kawani ng Philippine National Police sa pag-implement nito. And when he was asked kung ito ba ay resulta nung iyong reward money at yung iyong order na magkaroon ng quota, he vehemently denied that there was a relation between yung reward money at saka yung pagkakaroon ng abuso ng ibang pulis, which we all naman accepted as a reasonable reply to the question.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other headlines. In the Philippine Star, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has revealed the existence of the U.S. Task Force Ayungin. This appears to be a military unit of American troops in the country. The Department of National Defense and Armed Forces of the Philippines have yet to issue a statement on the matter. And in business world, the country posted a balance of payments deficit of $724 million in October. This as the national government repaid external debt. This was a reversal of the $1.5 billion surplus a year ago and $3.5 billion surfeit in September. Mary Jane Veloso's camp expressed hope that the convicted OFW will be released once she returns to the Philippines. However, the government said this is highly unlikely. Veloso's legal counsel, attorney Edre Olalia, said the government can grant clemency to her. However, Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Eduardo de Vega said the government is expected to follow Indonesia's conditions in transferring the OFW back to the Philippines. The Indonesian government said Veloso should continue her sentence in the Philippines after she was found guilty of bringing drugs to their country.
The first day, no, that's not very realistic, no, hindi po. But of course that's a hope. But kasi kung ganun po, parang that's not a transfer. They will have officially acquitted her or released her. That's not what they promised.
The UP Fighting Maroons deny the UE Red Warriors once more of an outright final berth, 77-67. Harold Alarcon unleashed a career-high 33 points for UP, matching Kevin Kiambao's outing against Ateneo in the second round. Alarcon's career-scoring night was coupled by a double-double from Quentin Milora Brown, who finished with 16 points and 12 rebounds. The Fighting Maroons end up at 11-3 for the number 2 seed in the semifinals, while the Red Warriors have to wait for the result of Saturday's game. And in showbiz, MQuest Artists Agency has started their workshop under the hands of renowned director and acting coach Rahyan Carlos. And what should we expect from his artists after this workshop? Mobile journalist Denise Valdesancho has that report.
The new face of MQuest Artists Agency is here, and he is none other than Direk Rahyan Carlos. Known for being the only accredited Chobak technique teacher in the country, renowned director and acting coach Rahyan Carlos now steps up as the new mentor of future MQAA artists after his hiatus.
Sabi ko, when the right time comes, you let me know because I'm really looking for somebody that can lead our training and development.
With over 30 artists in the MQAA, Direk Rahyan has already started the trainings for half of the artists, including Sam Coloso, Michael Ver, and Dom Real. And as a mentor, one of the goals is to break stereotypes in workshops.
Sa atin kasi, ang tingin sa workshop, parang may kakulangan ka kapag sinabject yung sarili mo sa workshop. Ay siguro hindi magaling, hindi. No. Actors need to have constant training po eh. Kasi why? Because acting change, because people change.
Direk Rahyan also talked about his famous Chobak technique.
We teach actors how to use their emotions not as an end result, but as a way to empower a goal.
Their vision for MQAA.
Make it really a hub for actors that are trained and yung maipagmamalaki sa lahat na yung mga ine-develop namin at nade-discover na artists really go through a process.
Not only will he train MQAA artists, but Direk Rahyan also has a year-end public workshop in the works as well. His training is open not just for the new breed of artists, but also for those with experience, including veterans. And in the end, the goal is to be a triple threat performer.
For teens and adults, divided by into 4 yan eh. Introductory level for those who's really starting, advanced level 1, advanced level 2, and the master class. Then, we have the dance and the voice as well.
Registration is now open this November 23 and 24, and his promise at the end of each workshop.
So, dito pa lang sa workshop, magkatampuhan na tayo, pero mahusay kang lalabas.
Mobile journalist Denise Valdesancho. We are One News.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 9 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Pauline Verzosa. We are One News.